When we start learning and playing the guitar, there is always a moment where we just want to play something without thinking arpeggios, chords, exercises, plucking patterns, or rhythmic patterns. Now, this is totally fine because we all need to just play something and wind up and forget about all these rules that we have to follow when we play. Now, especially if you are a beginner and you go through a lot of practical sessions, especially the long one, you know, the 45 minutes to 1 hour, where you just play all these exercises. At some point, you just feel you want to play a song or a bunch of chords. This is absolutely fine. You want to do that because that will develop your creativity quite a lot. So in this lesson, I want to show you a bunch of chords that I like to play when I just want to play something without thinking absolutely anything. And I've been showing these chords to a lot of my students and they love it. Now you can move these chords up and down the neck, and so you can really use it for two different purposes. The first one, you just want to move your fingers and play something musical. The second is obviously for I would say, a beginner songwriting approach. Now we're gonna have a look at the first chord. You can get the tab for the things that I play in this lesson. Check my Patreon page and support this channel. So thank you so much to all the people who support me on my Patreon page. And also subscribe if you want to keep up with all the upcoming lessons. Now let's get started with these cool beginner chords. Now the first chord is the power chord shape, super popular on the guitar. We are playing something like this. Now this is an E minor idea kind of thing, and I'm playing this shape on 7, 9, and 9. The set of strings is the A string, the D string, and the G string. It's a super simple chord. It can be a little bit stretchy if you are a beginner, so make sure that you keep the thumb behind the neck and between the index and the third and fourth finger, okay? You don't want to have it like this, so lower it down. And you can move it, so 7, 10, 5, 7, 3, and then we change set of strings, we keep the same shape, but we go on E, A, and D, and we play 3 and 5. You can also be a little bit more melodic if you want and play a simple picking pattern. Also, you can change the order and maybe play 3 and 3 and 5 and 5. The next chord is the major 7th chord, a beautiful sounding thing. Even though it's less versatile than the E minor chord, you can still move it up and down. The chord shape is this one, and the musical idea that I usually play sounds like this. Now we're gonna play the chord like this. You have the low E string on fret number 8, nothing on the A, the D and the G string open, the B string fret number 8, and the E string fret number 7. It's like a C major 7 chord, but we're also playing the D, which is the major 9 as well. And then you move this chord all the way down to the G, so it's on fret 3. Now you can also play a simple arpeggio if you want. And I can also change the voicing as well. As you can see, I'm playing from fret 7 to fret 8. Beautiful sounding chord. This is perfect when you sit on the couch and you just want to play something. Now the next chord is the A minor 7 chord. We can move this chord up and down in certain positions, and I really like the sound. So it sounds like this. So I'm playing the chord like this. I have the first A minor 7 chord, which is super simple, just the D string fret number 2 and the B string fret number 1, and I'm picking or strumming starting from the A string. Then I can move this chord on fret 4 and 3, and then on fret 9 and 8 and 11 and 10. So if you want, there is another shape that you can add if you want to kind of fill in the gaps between these two positions and just play 2 and 1, 4 and 3, 5 and 5, 7, 7, then you go back to the 9 and 8, 11 and 10, and 12, 12. So and if you play the last chord with low E string open, beautiful E minor 7 chord, which kind of, sounds really conclusive, like we're resolving with an E minor chord. I love it, I like it, and I really hope that you play around with this idea because it's just a beautiful open chord. Now the next chord is the add 9 shape, beautiful sounding chord, and I really like it for many different reasons, but I want to show you a really cool thing that happens when we play this chord. Now the musical idea is this one. So I'm basically playing two chords, a C add 9. Starting on the A string, I'm playing fret number 3, 2, open, 3, and open. And then I'm going to transpose this chord all the way up to the fret number 8, and I have 8, 7, open, 8, and open. Now this is an F add 9 chord. But we do have a little bit of extra things here, like the E string open, which is the major 7th as well. Now you can play with the simple strum. Or you could do a beautiful and simple arpeggio. Now the reason why I like this shape so much is because when we move to the F, there is something amazing about the interval structure that we have in this chord. Because we are playing F, A, G, G again, and E. And the cool thing is that we have the root note, then we have the third. Now the ninth, which is the G, is lower than the second note. Then we have another G, which is an octave higher. And then the E, which is lower than the G. So it's just a beautiful chord that sounds just awesome. And when you do this, this thing with the C add 9, obviously each note is always higher than the one that we played before. So I have C, and then E, which is higher in pitch, G, which is higher, D, which is higher, and then E, which is higher. But when we play the F, we have the root note F, and then we have the third A, and then the G is lower. The G again is higher, one octave, and then the E is lower. So it's a beautiful interval structure within this chord, and I just love the shape, super simple. Now the last example in E major works perfectly with the finger picking technique. You can't really strum this, but it's just awesome. It's a beautiful approach, and it sounds like this. We are playing the E major scale on one string, the G string fret number 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11, and 13. The bass note is the E string, and so you can decide to play the scale. You can also add either the B string or the E string open. And you can also change the bass note and play the A string open. Now the cool thing is that you can mix things up. For example, you could play fret number 1, fret 4, fret 9, fret 8, change the bass, fret 11, fret 9, change the bass, fret 1, fret 6. So you can really spend a lot of time playing around with this single finger up and down the G string. You change the bass note and things just happen. So beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, obviously there are a lot of different things that we can do, but for now we're just gonna work on these 5 chords, which are great. And then when you feel ready, you can, just start experimenting with different chords. Now, I hope that you like this lesson, guys, and thank you so much for watching this video. And I'll see you next time for more chords, melodies, and finger picking and strumming.